set things up, and now come down here for It's Not For You to Say.
Alright. Last week I gave a philosophical talk based on something I had read in the news. Were you here last week, Tina? I don't remember last week. Tim was here, but you three weren't. But I had read something and heard something on television that so shocked me that it made me ask some profound philosophical questions. But when I gave that talk last week, at the end of the talk, I kind of got to the content, not really technique and selling, and even myself, I felt like it was an incomplete talk. You're going to hear it again today, the complete version, and maybe you'll be able to answer some of the questions that have puzzled me by this event that I had read about in the news. An event that I think even you could learn something about when you hear all the consequences of it. The event pertained to a Brazilian soccer team. Maybe you're familiar with this. This is a Brazilian soccer team that came from a small village in a rural area of Brazil that typically played in a fourth level league, basically a loser's league. A few years ago, they decided as a team to get out of that loser's league and move up. They engaged some of the local businessmen to contribute to their team so they could get new uniforms and get a new coach. They started practicing harder and harder, working more as a team, getting experience, but maybe older players who were not quite at their prime that had something to add, and all of it started to come together. They began winning games, winning championships in their fourth division league, and moving up to the third division league, and then a second division league, and then a first division league. And the people in this small town were super proud of this team because they were living the dream. The dream is you're a loser, you're going nowhere, you're in a backwater somewhere, you start to work hard, you get your act together, you succeed, and you move up in life, right? That's the story, that's the dream. And they were doing that. And the townspeople were behind them because this was now their team. And like they say, everyone loves a winner, right? And they were winners. They were winning so much that eventually they got to play not even in the national championship, but in the championship for all of South America. Quite incredible. The championship was being held in Colombia. They were from Brazil. They arranged for a special flight. There were 77 people on the flight, the team and all the coaches and then journalists and all the people that are associated with a sports team. The team took off for Colombia, great expectations of playing in the championships of South America, the fairy tale ending of the story. And maybe you know what happened. You know what happened?
Yeah, they all perished.
They perished because the plane crashed in the mountain.
Most.
Huh?
Most part.
Most.
Yeah, 4 people survived. 4. Most.
They can rebuild.
For 4 people. Now, I don't know about you, but when I heard that, my feeling was, this is not the way the story is supposed to end. You're supposed to fly to the championship, despite all odds, win the championship, go back to your hometown heroes, march through the streets with the parade and all the glory that it comes. You're not supposed to crash into the mountain. This is not the ending of that story. It put me in shock. I don't know if you've heard about this before, and I don't know how you felt, but personally, I was like, what kind of world do we live in? You ever hear the saying, the good die young, that kind of stuff? It's the same kind of thing. the champions, not even the would-be champions, die too soon. I was completely at a loss to explain this. I thought quite a bit about it. I don't know, perhaps the little lady will tell me your thoughts. And the only thing I could conclude is, as human beings, it's not for you to say how the ending comes out. The story of the team working hard and winning the championship, that's our story as humans. That's the narrative we make up. But it's not for you to say that that's the ending. The universe runs by rules that are not human rules. The universe has things happen that don't happen according to our stories. And I concluded it's just not for you to say. Now, the next time you read about something like that, where something happens and it doesn't make any sense and you're wondering what to do, you could make up the human explanation like Rocky made. One of the people attending last week, he said, well, at least those people, when they died, knew that they had achieved the best they could achieve. I said, Rocky, you think those people were thinking that in the airplane as the airplane went down? At least I did almost the best? No, that's just another human explanation. You can make up all kinds of explanations and consolations, but they want to be human stories. Or, instead of that, you might simply reflect that when bad things happen, all you have to do is realize, as human beings, it's not for you to say what should happen